Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're gonna be doing some Red Eyes Black Dragon test hands. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. If you guys would like to check out this Red Eyes Black Dragon deck that I'm using in this video, definitely check out the link down in the description to see this exact deck profile. So, without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So this deck just got an awesome new boss monster in the form of Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, which is such an awesome card. And we recently also got the new Metal Morph card to be able to summon it out, which is absolutely insane. The deck finally has a way to summon out Black Metal Dragon. Super easy to our side of the field in the form of the new Full Metal Dragon, and it's actually a walking negate that can also do burn damage, which is absolutely insane. It's such a cool card, and it's just absolutely crazy how powerful it is in this deck. And I really like the enthusiasm I've been seeing in the comments requesting this deck get combos, and I love to see that from you guys. And it's just so fun to see you guys request combos down in the comments of the deck profiles. So let's go ahead and give the deck a quick shuffle and see what we can do for our first test hand. So we're going to go ahead and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Red Eyes Insight. That's awesome because it instantly lets us step into a copy of Dragoon. A copy of 1-for-1. That's awesome because that's basically a 1.5 card combo. So you'll get our copy of Black Metal Dragon on the field. We draw into a Black Metal Dragon. That's awesome. That's a 1-card combo for the deck. Dragon's Ravine. Now we don't have to search it off of Romulus, and a copy of the Black Stone of Legend. So this is totally fine to actually open up 2 normal summons in the deck. And we do have a Foolish Barrel, which is actually really nice for follow-up. So this is actually a really cool hand because you can basically just start with your copy of Black Metal Dragon and go full combo in this build, which is awesome. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon out the Black Metal Dragon to our side of the field and immediately link this card away for a copy of Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon is going to go off, and our copy of Black Metal Dragon is going to go off. Probably go with the Black Metal Dragon as Chainlink 1 and Striker Dragon as Chainlink 2, so we can instantly get the exact cards that we need. So we're going to go ahead and use the copy of Black Metal Dragon to be able to search directly from our deck to our hand, which is going to be really nice to get our copy of Darkness Metal Dragon. These are the 2 cards I'm going to search off of each individual card. The Boot Sector launch is coming from the Striker Dragon, and the Black Metal Dragon is adding Darkness Metal Dragon from my deck to my hand, because when Black Metal Dragon touches the graveyard, you get to search a Red Eyes card, and that's not once per turn, which we're actually using this card multiple times in the combo to basically get multiple searches. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and special summon out our copy of our Darkness Metal by banishing our copy of our Striker Dragon on our side of the field, which is really an awesome play because this card is going to basically just get us full combo. We're then going to use the effect of our Red Eyes Darkness Metal to bring back Black Metal to our side of the field. We're then going to link these cards away, and once you do that, you can usually summon out a copy of Romulus to be able to step into a stepping stone piece, so that we usually can search out Dragon's Ravine if you don't open this card. But it's still a really good option to be able to summon this card out to your side of the field, because you don't really have a really good option besides this card to be able to summon out to your side of the field at this point for the combo. So at this point, we're going to go in with our Black Metal Dragon. Usually would activate Romulus, but we already have the Dragon Ravine that we've already searched, so it's not that big of a deal. So we're going to use the copy of Black Metal Dragon to search out an additional card from our deck to our hand. So at this point, we can use it to be able to search out an extender like a copy of the Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon, because we're actually going to use this card a 3rd time in the combo to be able to get an additional search, which is absolutely insane that we can do that, and we can just loop through this card over and over and over again. So at this point, we're going to activate the Dragon's Ravine on our side of the field and use its effect to be able to discard a card from a hand that we really don't need, which is like a copy of the Black Stone of Legend. Since we already had a normal summon in our hand, we really don't need another normal summon in our hand. So we're going to go ahead and discard that card to the graveyard to be able to use Romulus, or use our copy of Dragon's Ravine, that we searched off the Romulus usually, to be able to send to the graveyard a copy of Abzerauder Dragon. Once Abzerauder Dragon touches the graveyard, that actually lets us search a Rocket monster from our deck to our hand, which we're just going to search out a copy of Rocket Tracer Dragon, which is very important to be able to search here, because we can actually activate the copy of Boot Sector Launch over the copy of Dragon's Ravine, and then use Boot Sector Launch to special summon out the copy of Tracer Dragon. So once we get this out on our side of the field, we can use the effect of Tracer Dragon to pop the Boot Sector Launch, which the way this card was summoned out to our side of the field was by the effect of Boot Sector Launch, because this card has the effect that you can special summon it to 2 rocket monsters with different names from your hand in defense position, but we only have 1, so we're only summoning 1. So we're going to use the copy of Rocket Tracer to be able to special summon an additional rocket monster directly from our deck to our side of the field, which I usually like to special summon out a copy of Exploder Rocket Dragon directly from my deck to my side of the field, which is very important to be able to do because this card is a level 7 monster, which is going to help us out a lot in the long run of things because we can bring it back to our side of the field with the effect of our Boral End Dragon. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and link away the copy of Rocket Tracer. Important note at this point for you guys. Once you use the copy of Rocket Tracer, this card says for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters in the extra deck except dark monsters. But we're not going to summon any other dark monsters. Just you cannot end on Hieratic Seals at this point because it is a light monster. That's one of the only other cards we play in this extra deck that is actually not dark. So keep that in mind as you're going through the combo. So we're going to go ahead and link away our copy of our Rocket Tracer Dragon to be able to summon out a copy of Guard Dragon Pisty. Now the reason you do that here is because we do have an additional material here to go in with a copy of Romulus into Triple Burst Dragon, and the Guard Dragon Pisty will point here with the copy of the Triple Burst Dragon pointing down. So we're going to go ahead and link away both of these cards on our side of the field, and once we do, we're going to be able to summon out a copy of Triple Burst Dragon to our side of the field, and then now 2 Dragon Link monsters or 2 Link monsters are pointing to the same zone, so we can use the effect of Guard Dragon Pisty to bring back, yet again, our copy of Black Metal Dragon. Now we can use all 3 of these monsters on our side of the field, link 3, 4, and 5 on our side of the field, to be able to step into a copy of Boral End Dragon. Now we also have the effect of our Black Metal Dragon that did touch the graveyard, and since this card did go to the graveyard, we can use its effect to be able to search out an additional Red Eyes card, and at this point, we search out the Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon to be able to establish on the following turn, and we're going to immediately reveal this card in our hand, and this card actually has an insane ability that it helps you just instantly summon this card out to your side of the field, so it cannot be normal summon or set. It must first be special summoned with Max Metalmorph. That was activated by treating a level 5 or higher dragon monster, is why we searched out the copy of the Black Meteor Dragon. And this card also has the ability that you can actually reveal this card in your hand to set a Metalmorph trap from your deck, and if you do, shuffle this card back in the deck so we can summon it directly from the deck off of Max Metalmorph. So we're going to reveal this card to our opponent, and once we do, we're going to be able to set to our side of the field our copy of our Max Metalmorph. Now once we get our copy of Max Metalmorph, we can instantly just set it to our side of the field because it does set it to our side of the field with the effect of Full Metal, and just gives us an additional card on the field. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and use Red Eyes Insight just as a part of the combo, and this card is going to be able to send to our graveyard a Red Eyes monster from our deck to the grave, which we're just going to send the original Red Eyes Black Dragon to our graveyard, and once we do, we can actually search out a copy of Red Eyes Fusion, Red Eyes Spirit, or Return of the Red Eyes, any of those cards that you want to grab in this particular deck. I usually like to grab a card that's not Red Eyes Fusion because the copy of the Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon will search it on the follow-up, so it's not that big of a deal to be able to just instantly get this card on our side of the field. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to search out our copy of Red Eye Spirit because this card is just really good to be able to grab at this point because we're just going to be able to use this card later. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and special summon out a copy of Meteor. Meteor is just going to touch down on the field, and it's really good just to instantly get this card out on your side of the field by sending a copy of a normal monster from your deck to the graveyard. So I'm just going to send to the graveyard a copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon, which is just great to be able to send to the graveyard. And once we do that, we can also set to our side of the field our copy of Red Eyes Spirit. And at this point, we can also use a really cool effect to be able to actually spin back one of our Red Eyes monsters with the Blackstone of Legend, and then put this card directly back into the deck, and then add the Blackstone of Legend back to our hand, which is really, really cool. And the reason I actually did that is so I have the effect of 1-for-1 that can go off again, because we're then going to use our copy of 1-for-1 and send our copy of the Black Stone of Legend from our hand to the graveyard to summon out another black metal dragon to our side of the field. Now the reason I actually did this is so I can use the effect of Boral Dragon, so I don't negate the effect of the Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon, because you don't want to negate that card's effect because it will not be a level 7. This card is currently level 7 because of its effect, so we're going to go ahead and use the copy of the Boral to negate the effect of the Black Metal Dragon, and we're going to be able to special summon back our copy of our Exploder Rocket Dragon to our side of the field. And now we have 2 level 7s on our side of the field, because when this card special summons itself to your side of the field, it increases its level by 1. So we're going to go ahead and overlay both of these on our side of the field to make a copy of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Now we do have a Red Eyes in the graveyard, and it's pretty important to bring this card back to your side of the field. So we're going to just detach the copy of the Meteor, so because you specifically want to detach this card because it can search out your copy of Red Eyes Fusion on the follow-up. So I'm just going to go ahead and detach this card to be able to bring back the copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Plus, it's really cool to actually tribute Red Eyes for your copy of Max Metalmore, so you can summon out the Full Metal Dragon on the follow-up. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You can just leave the copy of Black Metal there since its effect is negated, and we do have the Red Eyes Spirit in the graveyard as well, or face down, so we can revive back a monster in the graveyard. So at this point, we're just going to go ahead and pass over to the opponent. They're taking 500 points of damage every time they breathe. If they get rid of this, we get an additional search. We can search Red Eyes Fusion on the follow-up. This card is a walking negate, and we already have our setup for the Red Eyes Black Dragon with Max Metalmore. So when their opponent goes, you can immediately activate the effect of Max Metalmore, because this card lets you tribute a face-up monster to special summon a monster that cannot be normal summoned or set that mentions Max Metalmore from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then you can equip this card to it with the effect that the equipped monster gains 400 additional attack points, and it cannot be destroyed by spells or monster effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with monster effects or spell effects either, so they really can only deal with it by just basically swinging over it or dealing with it with a trap card or a blanket effect. So it's something really important. They can't even destroy it, which is absolutely insane. So we're going to go ahead and tribute the copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon on our side of the field during the opponent's turn to bring out our copy of Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, which is such an awesome card. It boosts up to 3,800, and it is another walking negate in the deck. So we now have 2 walking negates on our side of the field, which is insane that we've established 2 walking negates on our side of the field with this setup. So when our opponent ends their turn after we've negated everything that they've done, they're going to pass it back over to us. We're going to draw for turn. It doesn't really matter what we draw, because at this point what we're going to do is use the effect in the graveyard of our copy of our Meteor Dragon, because you can banish this card except the turn it was sent to the graveyard to be able to add a copy of Red Eyes Fusion directly from your deck to your hand. So we're going to activate that Red Eyes Fusion on our side of the field, and once you do, we're just going to send from our deck to the graveyard a copy of the Dark Magician and the Red Eyes Black Dragon, because we can't special summon or normal summon that turn, but we can still set to our side of the field, and we're going to special summon to our side of the field our copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You can on your opponent's turn if you want to activate the Red Eyes Spirit, but I like to keep this card as basically like an insurance for the deck. So I just keep it set to my side of the field in case I need to bring back one of my monsters, because we've already got this insane setup. So we can also use the effect of our Red Eyes Insight if we want to be able to search out a spell or trap, but I usually keep it in my hand for the copy of the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon to discard and negate. But at this point we have 3 negates on our side of the field, which is insane, and every time the opponent breathes, they're going to take 500 points of damage. You can also use the copy of Black Metal Dragon to equip it to one of your monsters, like your copy of your Black Full Metal Dragon, which is really cool just to equip it to it, just give it that bonus attack points, making it absolutely huge. Or you can leave it on your side of the field to give you another search later on, but you get this really cool field set up, and it's absolutely amazing. So let's get into the next test hand, guys. This is an insane field, and this is pretty much what you usually establish off of 1 Black Metal Dragon, but we did have a couple of extenders along the way, like 1-for-1 did help out because we brought another monster, but it's very easy to step into a 1-card Boral Dragon with 1 copy of Black Metal Dragon. I do have combos, 3 combos you need to know to play this deck on the channel, which you guys have not checked out the Red Eyes one. You definitely should check that one out, because it does help out a lot for you guys to learn that, and it's very easy just to search this as the last card you search off of your copy of Black Metal Dragon. This will be the last card you search, reveal it, and then set your copy of Max Metalmorph, which is just really, really cool. So let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we can do for the next one. As soon as we get all the extract cards out, we go through a bunch of extract cards in this deck. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we can do. But usually what you're doing with this deck is just immediately going in for your copy of your Boral End Dragon as quickly as possible, because it's huge and it's a walking negate, which is amazing. So let's go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do. So we're going to shuffle up the deck really good and see what we can pull off. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a Red Eyes Black Dragon, Red Eyes Insight, which even if we completely brick, this card is going to get us to a Dragoon, which is fine. We're going to draw into a Druid's Worm, which is great as a hand trap, a copy of Return of the Dragon Lords, and a copy of Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. So with this hand, I can actually establish a copy of Dragoon and a copy of the Red Eyes Full Metal Dragon. So what we're going to do is we're going to immediately reveal the copy of Full Metal Dragon, and we're going to shuffle this card into the deck and set our copy of Max Metalmorph to our side of the field, which is insane how easy it is to establish this, and why I play the very small Bestial package in the deck with, I believe, just a copy of Druid's Worm and a copy of Magnamut in this build. But again, if you guys would like to check out the full deck profile, it is down in the description down below. So we're going to go ahead and activate, this will actually set to your side of the field, not add to hand. We're going to activate the copy of the Red Eyes Insight at this point, and we're going to go ahead and send from our, hey, it's on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and send from our deck to the graveyard a copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Make sure you're counting your Red Eyes Black Dragons, because you have to be able to send one to the graveyard for the effect of your Red Eyes Fusion. So we're going to go ahead and send a copy of Red Eyes to the graveyard, and we're going to immediately add Red Eyes Fusion, since we don't have a normal summon and we don't have really anything we want to bring out to our side of the field. And then we're just going to be able to drop our copy of Red Eyes Fusion. And once you do that, we can go in for a copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which is so cool to be able to summon it in a Red Eyes deck. So we're just going to send the Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon to the graveyard, two of the most nostalgic cards in the entire game. And definitely comment down below which one is your favorite of the big three nostalgic monsters: the Dark Magician, the Red Eyes Black Dragon, or the Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is not present in this deck. Then we're going to go ahead and summon out a copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon to our side of the field. And once we do that, we can go ahead and just pass over to the opponent. We do have the copy of Red Eyes we can discard to the graveyard for this card's effect, which is going to be really easy to do. We also put two vanilla monsters in this card, so we can get a double pop, which is insane. And we have the copy of Druid's Worm that we can summon to our side of the field, which is going to get us a send and two negates on our side of the field with this setup. So during the opponent's turn, as soon as a monster touches the graveyard that's dark that they have, we're going to go ahead and banish that monster from their graveyard. We can also use our copy of Dark Magician if we absolutely need to, and they put a monster on the field. We're going to go ahead and summon out the copy of Druid's Worm to our side of the field, because usually decks play dark or light monsters. There's probably a hand trap that they're going to send to the graveyard, like a copy of Effect Veiler or something like that. And with this combo, you're actually completely Nibiru proof, because we've only summoned twice, and we summoned once during our turn and once during our opponent's turn. So at this point, what we're going to do is flip up the copy of the Max Metalmorph, which is actually going to tribute the copy of the Druid's Worm. But a cool fact about this is if you make sure that your opponent has a monster on the field, you're also going to get to send a card to the graveyard with Druid's Worm, which is insane. Then we just summon out the copy of the Black Full Metal Dragon to our side of the field, which establishes another negate on our side of the field, which is insane, that we can just instantly get a send off the Druid's Worm, which it touches the graveyard, a banish out of the graveyard off the Druid's Worm. The copy of the Full Metal Dragon is a walking negate, and the Dragoon is a walking negate by discarding a card from our hand. So we're just going to discard the Dragoon, or discard the Red Eyes, and then boost up our copy of Dragoon by 1,000 attack points. Plus, this card is at 38, and it does burn damage to the opponent. This card does burn damage as well, which is absolutely crazy. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and let it go back to us. Let's just say they couldn't out our field. And we're going to go ahead and shuffle the deck really quick and draw 4 turns, since we did go into the deck for that copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon and Dark Magician. So we're going to go ahead and draw for turn. We're going to draw into a Rocket Tracer Dragon, which is not terrible, actually. And at this point, what we're going to do is activate our copy of Return of the Dragon Lords, and then we're going to special summon back the original Red Eyes Black Dragon. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and normal summon out the Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer will go off. We'll pop the copy of the Max Metamorph that we really don't need on our side of the field. It just makes it so this card doesn't get the bonus effects that it's basically immune to monsters and spells. We're going to go ahead and use the effect and summon out to our side of the field a copy of Exploder Rocket Dragon because it is a level 7 monster. So at that point, you have a lot of plays you can go into here. You can go into Romulus if you want to, but we don't have a card in our hand. But you are locked into Dark at this point, so you basically just want to go in for this play. This is the easiest and most simple play to go into. We're just going to go ahead and overlay both of these on our side of the field. Go in for our copy of our Black Metal Dragon, detach a material, and then once you do, since we have a bunch of Red Eyes in the graveyard, we have all 3, we can just bring back a Red Eyes to our side of the field. Plus, you can link away the copy of Rocket Tracer if you want to be able to go in for a copy of your Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon's great to go into here because you can just basically search out your copy of Boot Sector Launch, which is just a great card to be able to search from your deck to your hand to feed your copy of Dragoon. So it's actually a negate. You're just basically searching it so you have the negate in your hand. But now at this point, we basically just swing in for game with this big field because we've already used the negate. We can actually pop cards on the field. We can discard this card to the graveyard, boost up by another 1,000. We have this that's still a walking negate. And we have the copy of the Black Flare Metal Dragon, or the Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, that's doing a 500 points of burn damage every time the opponent breathes, which is insane. This is actually a really good field to be able to establish, even though we had a kind of okay hand that we basically just started with Dragoon. But Dragoon's a really tough card to out, so it's okay just to end on that sometimes in this deck. But we did end up getting both of these on our side of the field. And if you can establish both of these, that's a good hand. That's a really good hand to be able to summon out both of these to your side of the field, with just how powerful the deck actually is. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for another test hand. And I really, really love this deck. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've been playing Red Eyes for a very, very long time, and it's just an amazing deck. I really, really love this deck. But make sure you guys are pile shuffling your deck. I'm not doing it right now because it's in between test hands, but make sure you guys are pile shuffling your deck. That's dad rule number 1. I did it at the beginning of the video. You want to make sure that you do it at the beginning of whenever you're playing, and then shuffle up your deck. It's very important. It's dad rule number 1. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we can do for one more test hand and see if we can do some really insane plays. If you open up Black Metal Dragon, you're basically completely set up for your entire turn, but we're going to go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw. We're going to draw into Red Eyes Fusion. We're already fine. This is fine. We are going to draw into Red Eyes Insight, the Blackstone of Legend, our copy of Alternative Black, and a copy of Red Eyes Insight. So this is an okay hand. This is an okay hand. It's not great. It's not crazy, but it's an okay hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to go activate the Red Eyes Fusion. If all else fails, we have Red Eyes Fusion. I mean, that's just, to be honest with you guys, the best way to play the deck. If you activate the Red Eyes Fusion, you're pretty much stepping into Dragoon if your opponent does not hand trap you, which is the most important play in the entire deck. And it's so cool to be able to actually do that because Dragoon is an amazing boss monster to be able to summon. So we're going to immediately summon out the copy of Dragoon to our side of the field, which I'm just going to summon it way down here. And once we do, we can activate the copy of Red Eyes Insight if we want to, just to make sure we don't draw into a Red Eyes Black Dragon. You don't want to draw into it. It's very important to play them, but you don't want to draw into them to be able to put a copy of Red Eyes Spirit on our side of the field. Red Eyes Spirit's great in this deck. Basically just bring back a monster from the graveyard. You can also, instead of this, you can actually set the copy of the Return of the Red Eyes, which is a really good option because if you control a Red Eyes monster, which Dragoon is, you can actually target a normal monster in the graveyard and special summon it, which is a great effect. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck. And then once we do, we're going to go pass over the opponent, let them do whatever they want to do. We can just discard the copy of Red Eyes Insight because we already have pretty much the entire setup that we want. Let them go ahead. This card negated something, and we're going to go back to us. This card is actually set on our side of the field because we're going to be able to activate it. So we're going to activate this card, bring back our copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then the opponent's going to pass back to us. We're going to go ahead and draw. Draw for turn, Return of the Dragon Lords. That's a great card to draw into, but be careful about this because you want to make sure that you have Red Eyes flowing in the graveyard so you can bring them back with your copy of your Red Eyes Flare Metal. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and normal summon out our copy of the Blackstone of Legend, tribute it on our side of the field, and then bring out the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Now we can roll through some Flare Metals, which is great. We can use the effect of these two, or no, they don't have effects. You're just going to use them to be able to make your copy of Flare Metal. Detach your copy of Red Eyes to be able to bring back a Red Eyes to your side of the field. And once we do that, we can just go in for another copy of our Red Eyes, because we do have the Return of the Dragon Lords to be able to revive a Red Eyes from the graveyard. We're then going to overlay both of these on our side of the field, make a second copy of Flare Metal, and once we make the second copy of Flare Metal, we're just going to detach, since we already have a Red Eyes in the graveyard, and we're going to bring out, actually we don't have another Red Eyes in the graveyard, so you cannot even detach there, but that's totally fine, because we still have a really good field set up with a double Flare Metal on our side of the field, and I really like that about this card. You can also use the effect if you want to of this card, because it's a once per turn effect, to be able to bring back the Dark Magician from your graveyard, which is a really cool ability just to bring back the Dark Magician onto your side of the field. If you want to as well, you can tribute the copy of Dragoon to summon out that third Flare Metal just for the style points if you want to, as it is a Red Eyes monster, and overlay these two. Maybe not a good idea to do that, but it's still really cool to be able to summon out 3 Flare Metals to your side of the field, but you can do it. It's easy to summon out 3 Flare Metals to your side of the field. It just depends on your field and what your hand is. Again, we did tribute the Dragoon for it, kind of style points, but you don't have to do that. You could just keep this card in your hand, keep this on your side of the field, and keep it set up like this if you want to, where these are all in the field, and then you have the negate in your hand because you have a 4,000 attack point boss monster on the field, and you basically just set up this insane field, which is so cool about this deck. You basically set up 2 copies of Flare Metal, an original Dark Magician, because if you control a Red Eyes monster, you can actually target a normal monster in the graveyard and special summon it with your copy of Return of the Red Eyes, which is actually why I use this card instead of the Red Eyes Spirit in this combo, because I knew I was going to have a bunch of normal monsters in the graveyard. And then we also have the copy of the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which again, you can tribute it with your copy of Alternative Black, and then summon out your copy of the third Flare Metal if you want to go for 3 Flare Metals, which is a really cool option. So I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. If you guys want to check out the deck profile, definitely check it out down in the description down below. And definitely give us a like for being able to summon out 3 Flare Metals. You did have to tribute a Dragoon to do it, but it's still insane that you can do it in this deck. And it's very easy depending on the extenders that you open up, which is so cool. And I absolutely love the new support that we've gotten for this deck in the form of the Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, which is such a cool card. And definitely, again, check out the deck profile down in the description down below for the full deck profile for this deck. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely know down in the comments down below if you guys are enjoying the combo videos on the channel, because I'd love to do more of these, guys, but I'd love to hear from you guys. So that's going to be this one, guys. We'll see you in the next video. See you later, guys.